COVID happened, you had to sit with your emotions, and then allowing, and then learning to allow that my emotions are not a burden, that my
Mm,
emotions are here just to let me know that hey, something's going on, sit with it. And then connecting some certain emotions to that little girl, it was like, what the fuck? Because certain emotions that you constantly feel is inner child, and you don't realize,
mm,
like, oh, you grow to a certain age and you feel like your childhood was just your childhood. You don't see how it interconnects with you being an adult with your inner child. And it's like, and that's when I realized one thing, one modality, healing modality and
mm,
journey back is the connection between your adulthood and your childhood, and how that follows, and certain emotions follow you. You're not sad as an adult, but you're still sad because of that little girl, and you never acknowledge it. And
mm.
learning how to have conversation with your inner child, that was another one. It might sound crazy to some people, but learning to talk to her, learning to address her, it's like it frees you from certain emotions,
Mm,
for certain thoughts. It allows you to rewrite your story.
mm,
That was really important to me.
mm. Talk about it, girl.
No.
No, that man, that's so real. It's like that's why for me, like part of my journey, like when I first started getting into healing and understanding it, because I was chasing money for most of my adult life, to being truthfully honest. Now it's about my bag. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna get the bag. I'm gonna get the bag for the family. The
Yeah.
family, like my family needs the bag. Like that's it. So I'm gonna get it for them. And then when I eventually got the bag, and then I realized that I'm so unhappy with the bag, right? Like this, like the world told me, society told me I just had to have money and my
Yeah.
problems was going to go away, right? So once I realized that, and I went through my spiritual journey and I did, inner child's work, I'm like, yo, this is what my mom needs. Like I've been chasing a bag for my mom because I thought I could make her issues go away by giving her money. But no matter what I bought her, no matter how much money, how much bills I paid, she was still unhappy because of her little girl. Like
Exactly.
she had her things to deal with.
Yeah.
um how was it, like I don't know if you actually framed it, like if you went through like the, because there's so much we go through in the journey, and people, you piecemeal it and you go through your own process within that journey. But how did it click for you that the parents you have are your human parents?
Yeah. A lot.
How did that like feel, like what was that experience like? Oh, these are, because it seems like they're superheroes. It seems like these are people that are, they have it all together. That's what it seems like to you growing up as a kid. But then how was it to realize like, oh, these are my human
Yeah.
parents?
Yeah. I feel like for me personally, it took me to write my story 4 times.
Mm.
The first time I wrote my story, I wrote it in the victim perspective. The second time I wrote my story, I tried to write it in a different perspectives, trying to be like the bigger person. Third
Mm.
time I wrote my story, I'm like, no, let me see, let me really truly see, and let me go a little bit deeper within my parents because they also are a part of my story.
Yes.
The fourth time I wrote my story, I included my parents and I include their story too, and I connected the pieces, and I was like, oh, oh, I gotta give them. And then you know what's crazy? Um, so recently my brother just had a baby, and I
Mm.
and I told my mom like, hey, I am so thankful for you because you had to get up when you didn't want to get up because you had me. And it's like, I am so thankful for the mothers, and I feel like mothers and parents alone don't get the credit that they deserve because we judge them so much of what they didn't do for us. And we don't
Mm.
take time to realize, yo, these are humans. They have
Mm. Mm.
feelings that they don't address.
Mm.
I'm blessed enough that I was able to go on a journey with a group of women, but my mom can't say the same.
Mm.
It's so hard on her, and I feel
Mm.
like like once you learn these certain things, it helps you to heal. You start seeing them in a different lighting. Just like my
Mm.
father, I used to have a big resentment towards my father. But then I realized he was on his journey himself. So who am I to judge him? He was just trying to find him. And that was the crazy part.
Wow. I got goosebumps, girl. He's giving us the medicine. I love the fact that you, oh my gosh, Sonia, I love the fact that you rewrote your story and then with their stories included. Because I think that's like one of the biggest piece we're missing, right? Because we're often reflecting on our story, our victim, our victimhood, the things that they did to us, but we don't include what happened to them.
Yes, exactly. Once you get to realize and you put their story together, and you know who helped me was Carmen. So when I did my reading with Carmen, he broke a lot of things down about my parents. So he didn't directly say like, "Oh, you have to look at your parent as human," but as she broke down the emotional and the spiritual side of them, I realized, like, oh shit, they are human. They did went through a lot. Who am I to judge? So let me write my story. And I wrote it, and then I had like, what helped me also is having conversation with them and asking about their childhood
Yes.
and hearing them. And like, my dad is more emotional than my mom, so my dad was crying every time. Every little question I would ask him about a child, he would cry. And now this judge for
and Cindy, really quick, I don't mean to interrupt you, but think about how healing that was for him. Like,
yeah,
men don't cry. And the fact that you were able to give him that space, and it was for you too. Like you created that space for you, for your healing. You're like, yo, let me get to know my dad more. So let me ask him these questions, but not knowing that you created space for him to heal and release.
yes. I didn't know that. I didn't think about that either. I just thought about my story together. But yeah, you're right. How I created space for him.
Like and that reminds me of like when I first had a conversation with my father, like just trying to realize like he's a piece of my puzzle, and if I'm gonna heal, then I need to understand him because he's me, right? I'm him. Like he's like we're part of each other. And my dad actually, the reason why I realized it for me in that moment was my dad actually voiced it to me. He said I have never expressed what I'm expressing to you to a human being. So my dad is now, I think he's 62 years old. And that was his first time expressing out loud what he said to me, while crying. And he said I have felt caged for so long, and I'm so glad that you're asking me this because now I can communicate it. Like healing is not even just about us. Like if anyone is feeling like the call to get healed, like this is a collective thing we're in. Like I keep saying that it's so real. Like me and Cindy have our perspectives and ideas about the pandemic, right? But what I realized, what I was thinking about the other day, Cindy, was like, so now I go to the store, I got to put a mask on, right? Because people have attacked me too many times. I'm like, you know what? I'll put the mask on because I love y'all and I respect y'all, so I got to do it. But this has been such an eye-opening experience for me because it shows me very clearly that if not everyone is free, then I am not free.
Yeah.
So put your fucking mask on, Leilani. You thought you was free? You thought you was free by yourself, right? Because I have this internal experience of being peaceful and enjoying myself, but collectively we're not free. No. So if we're not collectively free, then I'm not free. So this is like, if you're feeling like the call to heal, it's not only about you, it's for everyone. And hold on, I think I see a comment. Shannon, hey sister. She says our parents didn't normalize therapy. There's a lot of unaddressed, unidentified trauma. Yeah. And honestly, like Shannon, you says our parents didn't normalize therapy, right? And we can go a step deeper than that and say that our parents, they were in survival mode. So most of our parents, if you're a millennial, your parents were in survival mode. So the reason why they thought giving you things was loving you was because they didn't get things, right? So they wanted to provide you what they didn't receive. So they were working. But now we millennials are at a place now, we have the privilege to even think about therapy. Like that's a privilege. If you look at the hierarchy of needs, like there's certain needs that have to be met before you even think about healing and even think about being introspective and think about your own healing. Like that's a gift, us being where we are right now, to even think about like, oh, maybe I need to heal, maybe I need to understand this reality deeper. Like, what is this experience we're having? What is the spiritual world? This is a privilege, and we have to see it that way, because hopefully it becomes a fuel for us to act on it. Like,
Exactly.
we're in great times right now. It's like, it's not great times, but it's great times, you know?
It's a perfect time. It just depends on how
Like,
people view it. It's all about perspective. And that's what I'm also
yeah.
realizing. There's so many perspectives out there. So it's like it's up to you to create whatever you want. But also
Yes.
keep in mind of the reality that a lot of us are living. You know, a
Mm,
lot of us are still living in survival mode. A lot of us don't address certain emotions that keep coming up.
yeah.
We tend to stay busy on purpose. You don't want to be busy because you like to be busy. You want to be busy because you don't want to deal with certain emotions.
Mm. You want to be doing instead of being.
Exactly.
You want to be a human doing and not a human being.
Exactly. And that's the problem with a lot of people. They just want to do because they are just running from themselves. And
Mm.
honestly, once you learn yourself, once you get to know self, at that moment when in the like in the beginning, it could be a little bit intimidating because you're not used to yourself. You cover with so much mess, so much ideology, so much things that it's not even you. You didn't even ask
Mm.
yourself, are these things that I believe in? Generally, do I believe these certain things? You don't have to ask yourself this. You just
Mm.
been running,
Yeah.
or just taking about what the elder says to you, but not questioning yourself. Like, yo, does this sit right with me? Do I feel right
Yeah.
with this? Do I believe in this? So, yeah.
Keep preaching, and you don't stop now. Man, it's been so wonderful getting to know Cindy more. So Cindy's been part of like the journey back to self, and now she's part of Embodying the Self, which is a different program. Um, but Cindy's been awesome. Like I've learned so much from you. Like the part of the journey back to self that I love for me as a facilitator is like I get to learn from goddesses like you. Like, you have so much medicine to share. Like, I said it to you on your clarity call, and I keep saying to you because I really feel it. Like,
Yeah.
you connect so many things for me that like I have my own perspective, my own seeings, but you'll see the same thing I'm seeing, but put it in a different way that I'm like, oh shit, like I didn't even think of it that way. Like this the rewriting your story 4 times, like, you've blown me away. You know, that's part of the journey back to self now. Like, you're gonna have to write the story 4 times. This is Cindy. This is called a Cindy. We do it 4 times. Okay,
No,
hold on. I
try
think
try it this time. Try it this time.
someone has a question for you. Cindy, how do you
Um.
feel now compared to when you started? What
Okay.
are the changes from before doing the journey back to self with me versus now?
Okay.
How do you feel now compared to when you started?
So now I feel more clear. So with all the decisions that I make, I feel more clear within self. Now I feel more balanced. One thing for me personally that I had an issue before going to Journey Back to Self, which I said in the previous live, was that I didn't allow myself to feel emotion. I was constantly on the do. And I feel like with Journey Back to Self, it helped me to realign with my emotions, connect with certain emotion, help me connect how this emotion that I'm feeling as a grown adult is connected to my inner child. It helped me face my inner child. It helped me talk to my inner child. Um, and it also it helped me to figure out that my purpose wasn't within my bachelor's degree. So before journeying back to self, I just recently earned my bachelor's degree, and I thought that I had to work a career job to make me happy. But during the journey back to self, I realized that's not me. That doesn't make me happy. That doesn't fulfill me. It doesn't fulfill me that I have to work so much hour for a salary. So there's like so much things that journey back to self helped me. Like, oh my God. But the number one I would say for me personally was emotions, connecting with my emotions, and then obviously writing my stories. That I had to write my story 4 times, so that really helped a lot. Like honestly, and like it's just a group setting, having someone that say no, you're allowed to take space. You know, that was really important for me. Having someone to like hear you, having a group of ladies, that is fucking powerful, to hear you out, to
Mm-hmm.
encourage you. If you need a shoulder to cry on, just cry. And they would like continue to like uplift you or just hear you out. Because what I realized about journeying back to self was you don't give out advice, you just listen, you know, because all of the ladies didn't need advice. What they just needed was somebody to listen to them, someone to hear them stories, someone to hear them. Because so many times we've been in an environment where people don't fucking listen. They just want to give you fucking advice and send you on. Nah, girl, you need some advice. Okay, and they give you their advice. But like
Mm-hmm.
allowing someone to hear you, that was the safe space for me. And that's where what I got out of journey back to self, learning how to take space, not being afraid to take space, and having a bunch of ladies just listen to me. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really important to me.
And that's really important because one of the things like in healing is we're often like looking for the other person to heal us. Like we want the healer, we want somebody outside of ourselves to give us the answer, when the reality of is no one has the right answer but you. That's why like I can give you advice and I can tell you what
Exactly.
the path is that I think you should take, but I haven't been in your body. Like I haven't been in your body all these years like you have been in your body. Like there's no one that has better advice than you. But oftentimes we're in our heads, right? We're not speaking our truth. We're filtering ourselves. We're lying to others, which means we're lying to ourselves, and that's what creates confusion. Because now then
Mm-hmm.
when you keep lying to somebody, when you're alone, you're like, wait, which one is the truth? Like, am I really that person I was when I was wearing the mask, or am I this person now when I'm alone? Which one am I? And it becomes really
Exactly.
confusing.
Yes, it does. It really does. Because 9 out of 10, when someone's giving you advice, it's because you have a mask on. It's just not that you're showing up as your true self. Or are you
Mm-hmm.
even? And that's when I started questioning myself too. Like even like within my relationship, that's what I got after journey back to self. How am I showing up with these people that I say that I care about? So whether with friendship, how I'm truly showing up, am I truly listening, or I'm also one of the person that just give advice just to give advice and not hearing you out. So
Mm-hmm.
that was one of my takeaway. Just listen, hold space,
Yeah.
and that's something that I did not know about before. So that was one of the things that I learned, and it was really powerful.
And where will the world be if we just hold space for another to just express and be and
Yes,
like show us who they are? Like this world
yes,
would be so it would be transformed completely
it
if we
would.
actually got to see each other, like if we actually really got to, because oftentimes I think too, like when I went through my journey and I was questioning people about their stories and understanding them, what I came to realize, like and it even happens like now in my like when my one-on-one sessions with people, is I'll watch them filter themselves, right? So I'm a guide. We'll be in these self-exploration story journeys and sessions
Mm-hmm.
together, and like I'll ask them a question and they'll be like, but no, that's not probably not. And then they'll say something else, and I'm like, no, 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 no. What was
Yes,
before that? Like, what was
yes,
before? I'm curious about what was before that, because you just try to
yes,
filter yourself and then to express yourself. How does that work?
yes. And that was another thing that I learned too. You just reminded me, click. We're so logical. We think within our brain too much. And one of the things you kept repeating was no, just say what you want to say. Think with your heart. Don't stop thinking. Because once you think about it, that's not the response that you truly want to say. And that's when I realized, I was like, oh, everything makes sense. Like, you just think so. Because you just assume that people just want answers. You don't really assume that people want to hear the truth. Well, your truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And we could talk about like lies for a second. I stopped myself probably, it's been like a year. So I used to just tell little lies. Like it would just be little lies. Like let's say I was picking up a girlfriend. I was like an hour away because I was late. I would be like, I'm about 15 minutes away. Oh no, I'm an hour away, right? I would just little lies. And then I remember having like a meditation session in the morning, woke up, and one of my guides told me to stop telling little lies. Like just stop telling little lies. Like even if they're small lies, just stop. And I didn't understand. I'm like, I'm not hurting anyone though. They're not important. Like I'm just lying about shit that don't matter. It's just I don't want to tell the truth. But how you do one thing is how you do everything. So that's what my guide told me. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So once I stopped lying, then I started realizing why I lied. And you said it, Cindy. I used to lie because I was afraid of expressing my truth because I didn't want to hurt people's feelings. So let's say if I could have just been like, hey, you know what? Sorry, girl. Woke up late, had a lot to do. I'm running behind right now. I'll be there in an hour. But most of the time, the girls that the friendships I had, they would get mad at me if I was late. Right? They didn't give me that space and time to say, okay, girl, cool. You're late. Fuck it. You're always late. I know you. Like, whatever. Just hurry up and get your ass here. Right? I didn't get that love, like that understanding, that space. So I would lie. But here's the caveat. Those friends weren't meant to be in my life. So I was lying to keep them in my life when they weren't supposed to be there. So
exactly.
when like lying is like a little piece of it. Like there's a module like in the Journey Back to Self called word spells. And it all talks about like spells, like right, every time you're communicating, you're putting spells. So when you're lying, you're putting spells on yourself that are not true, versus speaking the truth all the time. And even if it's a truth that people don't know yet. So if I say I'm a goddess, like I'm a badass goddess, it might be a truth you don't know yet. So I might look like a bum, but it's a truth that I know. So I'm gonna put that spell on myself until it shows up.
Yo, that that is so powerful. And because I can relate, because I'm constantly, I got to this point also where I'm gonna be honest. If I'm running late, I'm telling you I'm running late. Like I don't care. Before I used to be like I'm 10 minutes away, or oh yeah, I got my clothes on. I'm heading out and nowhere near dressed.
Story of my life.
And yes, and it would be because I didn't want to. You said like you didn't want to hurt their feelings. Me personally, I just didn't want to hear their mouth. I didn't want to hear the complaining. So I would just lie, simple lie. Now it's just being honest. I'm running late, girl. Some shit, I got caught up. Really powerful.
That's important.
Mm-hmm.
That's so
and that's the other thing I start to realize, that the power of words. Oh my God, words are so fucking powerful. Like I remember a year ago, if I was broke, I would say I'm broke. Now I stopped saying that. I don't say I'm broke. I'm not broken. I'm not broke. And that's when I started to realize is that when it comes to like money and stuff like that, people are willing to do anything for $1. But when I started to realize, for me personally, is that dollar doesn't have nothing. It's not backed with nothing. And that's what we fail to realize, is that our family push us like, yo, you need to get this bread. You need to get this money. You got to do this. You got to do that. And it's like, when you realize, like, wait, why the fuck I'm feeling myself? This shit is not even back up nothing. And then you start, bitch, this is an illusion. What are you doing? You got to be living your best life. What? I fell for this $1? No. And that's what I'm realizing now.
and how many of us on this live right now, there's 4 people watching, how many of us like are working, are giving so much of our energy, which equals our time, which equals energy, to money? Like how much are we giving all this energy to money when it's backed up by nothing? And I get it. We're still human beings. We got bills to pay. We gotta eat. We gotta drink. We're not taking that away. But the
No.
reality of it, even if we have those things, it's still true that it's an illusion. This money thing that we're chasing,
Yeah.
because there's millionaires, billionaires that kill themselves. There's no peace, no joy. Like all these things that we actually want, happiness, that is lacking
Yes.
for these people. So Cindy, I
Exactly.
have a question for you, a closing question. Okay. So for the women that might be watching that want to heal, right? They want to step into their power. They want to be able to hear their hearts. They want to like go into the talk to the inner child. Like they feel ready to move forward into healing, but feels afraid um and hesitant about taking the step. What would you say to them now that you've gone through the journey back to self? We've worked together, like, and you were there, right? Because we had a clarity call.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say? Or so maybe either what would you say to those women, or what would you say to yourself when you were on a clarity call with me and wasn't sure if you were going to do the journey back to self? Like, what would you say to that version of yourself?
Oh, okay. So what I would say is that, first of all, don't be afraid to make that investment on yourself. As I just spoke recently, that dollar ain't worth shit. You are the currency. You are powerful. Now it's time for you to recognize your goddamn power, sis. Um, that is something really important to me, because that what I wanted for someone to say to me, or what I wanted myself to say at that time. Um, it's I feel like it's important because you don't have to heal alone. And that's the thing. You don't have to do it alone. You can meet people that are lifetime friends. Lifetime friends. Um, on my first journey back to self, I met beautiful, beautiful souls. Beautiful souls. And I made friends. And that's the thing, like, you're not alone. Like, you're just not alone. And you forever will stay like connected, and you will forever have someone to speak to. I would say get to know yourself, because your true self is desiring it. If you book that current call, it's because spirit knows what the fuck it wants. It knows that, sis, it's you, to put your shit together and get it together, get to know yourself on a deeper level. Because I feel like the information that it's shared, not only by Leilani, but within the ladies itself, because what we forget is that we also are powerful, and we also have medicine, and it's all shared. It's like an energy exchange. We all sharing our medicine. You don't recognize it yet, but you will at the end of the journey. You will. And it's so important, like, for our sisters to heal ourselves, because once you heal yourself, you heal your womb, you heal you, and if you heal you, you're healing your whole generation, your family. You see how that is so powerful. Like, if you're able to like heal just simply your mom or your father, just creating space for them, don't you see how powerful that is? Like, please, like, please just do it. I feel like if you book the clarity call, it's because spirit is telling you, like, you need to do this for yourself. And it's not only for yourself, it's for everybody around you. Everybody that's gonna experience your aura, your energy, it's for them too. You don't know who else needs it, and just not aware of this information. So please do it. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, guys. I hope you save this live, so that way they can see it, please, because it's really important to see. Like, I feel like like, in this community, there's so many people that have so many programs about healing and stuff. But what makes your program different from others is that it's not like you're not the main, but you allow us to share safe space. You allow us to share our medicine. You allow us to use our voice. You allow us to express the feelings that we have inside, while we create space for others also to share their feelings. And that is really important. You're humble as fuck. I need people to know this. You're very humble as fuck. You are not somebody that I know everything. No. You be like, oh shit, you know this? Oh wow. And that, like, no, that is so empowering. because people can be really intimidating the position because of titles, and we don't. And what I realize about you, you don't really work on titles. You let that go, and that's what people need to know, that it's not gonna be like Leilani title. No, everybody's the same. Please don't worry about that. If that is if that's something of one of your concerns, don't worry about that. Because everybody, oh my God, it's so powerful. Everybody has a voice, and it's time for you to share your medicine. Please, please.
Cindy, you the shit. Yo, Cindy's the if y'all didn't get that medicine, y'all wildin'. Okay, so if you're on here, you better give Cindy hearts. Okay, you better write in the comments. Like, she is so powerful. Cindy, when you said spirit knows what it wants, I'm like, yo, that's a fucking shirt. Okay, that's a tee. Okay, that's a t-shirt. Spirit knows what the fuck it wants.
Exactly.
Ah,
exactly. It does.
Like, my drop. That's it. Spirit knows what it wants.
Exactly. You're not booking it just to book it. Come on. There's a reason why you're booking that call. You know, girl. That's what I realized. When I booked my Clary call, I was like, oh no, I don't want to do this. Like, this is intimidating. And I think I shared to you, like, nah, I'm afraid. Like, I'm scared. Like, what I'm doing this. And you was like, no, don't be afraid. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. You're right. I'm not going to be afraid. That's what I'm saying. Like, please don't be afraid. Like, it's a reason why you're booking this call. It's a reason why. And no one deserves to do their healing alone. You don't need to do it alone.
That is so big. That's a really big one too. Like, not having to do it alone, yo.
Exactly. You do it alone, you're gonna go crazy. All these emotions, and you don't have like a safe outlet to explore your emotions and to talk about it. You're gonna go crazy. Because this is not something that
people around you too might not even believe in what you're saying. Like, you might be exploring yourself and just finding out all these different aspects of you and your gifts, like spiritual gifts that you might have, and then you share it with your mom and dad. They're gonna throw holy water on your ass.
They gotta take it to the church on Sunday. Yo, you're right. Please, guys, don't be afraid. Please don't. You know, and it's sacred, and that's the key. I think that's the really important part, that is sacred, and how sacred the space is, and it's really important. Really, really important.
Thank you so much, Cindy, for your time, your love, your medicine. I really appreciate you. Seriously. It was so cool to have a conversation. I'm so happy I requested you.
I didn't know you were going to be on the
and I'm happy I recorded it too. I recorded it, so I'll be.
You recorded it?
I'll be able to post it and share it.
That's good. And I'm so thankful for you, Leilani. I'm thankful for your medicine that you shared with me. And I'm so happy that we got to, like, you know, have this conversation. It's just amazing. Amazing. And I love you so
much. I'm not just making my ugly face on camera. Thank you, Cindy. Enjoy the rest of your day. I don't know if I might get off this. Let me see if anyone wants to join. If someone else joins me, I'll stay, but I might be getting off and tending to my little guy.
Okay. I love you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was awesome. If you are on here, that was the incredible Cindy sharing her medicine. She was someone that did the Journey Back to Self, which is a self-healing program that I host. And the new 3-month journey is actually starting next week. So book a clarity call if you're interested on learning more, stepping into healing, like fully, authentically with your heart. Yeah, we would love to have you. Now, let's see if anyone else wants to join. I see Milan is still here. Hello, Mama. And then Roslyn is here. Hello, beautiful lady. Maybe it's time for me to get off. I've been on here for a while, but this was wonderful. Thank you for all of those that joined. Yeah, and it's time to take care of my little guy. Look, Amaru. Say hello. Buddy, look. Bebe. Look at the camera. Say hello. Say hi. Take care of yourself. And we'll talk